everyone, and welcome to this panel about AI and cities. Let me say that I think cities are becoming more and more intelligent, but perhaps intelligence without sovereignty is just dependency. And here we are going to discover who owns the data, who owns the infrastructure, and what are the algorithms that we are going to be seeing implemented in the future in the cities. So we have Angela Montanchez.
Hi, good morning.
Head of Global Via Innovation. And Angela leads innovation ecosystems at Global Via. It's the world leader in transport infrastructure and mobility service, and now she's focused on AI transformation for the company. She brings on the table the deep expertise in open innovation, digital transformation, and AI-driven mobility solutions. We have also the perspective of the entrepreneur, the startup, with Miguel Barreiro. He's the founder and CEO of AIRA, a climate and urban tech platform that uses AI, spatial computing. So we're going to see what's behind regarding the technology and what you are doing in the rooftops of the cities. And we have also Juan Corro, coming from the Madrid Digital Transformation as CTO and the Autonomous Informatics Agency of the Madrid City Council. And I would like to highlight something that it's like wow, and it's the deployment of AI-powered intelligence agents. And I would love also to discuss about the agentic city that you are building. So let's start, and let me start with perhaps the current state of, well, by the way, this is Jorge Blasco. I'm representing Lumo Labs, that it's a venture capital firm based in the Netherlands, and we're investing across Europe, 100 million in deep tech, AI, of course, software, and healthcare, education, climate, and sustainable cities are our main area of scope. And we envision that the technology, AI, is going to create a better society and better cities. And let's start with the current state of AI and the cities. Angela, what is where we are regarding the maturity cycle of AI?
That's a great question to start. If I had to summarize where we are and what's the current state of AI, I think it's not longer about efficiency. It's about data sovereignty and also controlling critical assets. Like as mobility operators, we not only manage data, but we provide services to users. We need to provide public value, and that's very critical. And if I had to point out like three major shifts and technologies that we're using and empowering in our day-to-day, it's first from reactive to preventive. So imagine like infrastructures, we've always been reacting to what's happening, and with AI there's been a shift to kind of prevent and to act in advance, having real-time data from sensors, and now especially with climate resiliency, having weather conditions where we can actually act in advance to what is happening. We've actually launched an open challenge in Portugal for detecting ice in a very early stage and being able to kind of prevent what's happening. The second major shift we're seeing is we're back to the edge. We're back to on-premise. We're back to basically processing AI on the edge with cameras, roadside units. And it's a matter of resiliency and also latency. When you want to share like critical messages, life-saving messages with users, milliseconds matter. So that's why we are going back to the edge. And on the third part, I would say that it's about interoperable platforms and being able to share data with the public administrations we work. I know this is a challenge. We're going to be largely discussing about this, but yeah.
And I have a company for you, perhaps in weather prevention, but let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
I would like to understand what is the concrete outcome that you are proposing for the cities.
Well, I think that the state of AI and the actions, I mean, is is very positive, and we are very optimistic about that. I mean, we have invested so much on the digital spectrum, but I think that it's very important that now we have the opportunity to start building into something physical. Over the last 10 years, we've been investing in efficiency, and this is done, and has been amazing because we have accelerated and optimized many cities like Madrid and many others. But I think that we have the opportunity to solve the real problems of the people. And I'm not saying mobility is not a problem and the importance of efficiency, but the real problems of the people are housing, are water management, are the heat islands that many southern cities are affected, is biodiversity. And I think that we have to start investing not only in the efficiency of the data, in screens and dashboards and urban twins, but be able to show concrete steps and physical steps that the people, that is where the city is for, can understand, experience, and live. The idea is not have a city that is more measurable, but a city that is more livable. And I think that this is a challenge, but I think that is a great opportunity.
And what about you, Juan? What are the most hot projects that you have now?
We are on housing deep. We are launching 2 large projects. One is Sueña Madrid, Dream About Madrid, to make data-driven planning system. And we are just yesterday started a contract for Madrid DBP, Digital Building Permits. First you have to plan the land, and then you have to give the permits to have real houses at the scale. We have more than 200,000 houses in the pipeline, and we have to speed them up to the streets. And those are 2 amazing projects we are doing these days.
And if we look at, there are multiple approaches. You are in the rooftop, covering the city. But what are the main outcomes that the current technology is delivering? What are we are obsessed with the KPIs of impact. What would you say that are the outcomes for society? Who wants to?
Well, our impact will be having hundreds of thousands of new homes in Madrid in half of the time we expect to have.
Well, from my opinion, I think that it's very important to understand good practices and see eventually the opportunities that we have in Europe, but more important, again, what the problems are in Europe. And the problems in Europe are, the space. Most of the city, because of geographical barriers or urban barriers, they are limiting the offer of housing. They are actually, the quality of the air is not improving. The biodiversity is diminishing. When you look, for example, at examples in Tokyo, the center of Tokyo, in terms of rooftops, 20%, 25% of the rooftops have been used. Has been used in terms of housing, has been used in terms of energy generators, has been used in terms of spaces for social interaction and creating biodiversity. But when you look at the rooftops, for example, in Europe and most of our cities, the use of rooftops is still none, is 0.
And what's that? Why is that happening?
What is the reasons? There's many reasons. The first one is the regulations. I was discussing with Juan before the stage, the regulation. But you have cities like Madrid, for example, that they're trying to relax that regulation. Now in Madrid, with the new Plan General, with 3/5 of the community, you can create a rooftop and green your area, offering the possibility of, and this is actually what we at ADA analyze. We have a multimodal AI that we are able to analyze where to build based on the regulations and the technical specificities of the building. What to build is the regulation allows to build a house, a regulation allows to build a green area, or maybe a photovoltaic installation that eventually will provide energy to the building. But I think that the most important thing is understand the regulation, that cities have to understand their own regulations and eventually be more flexible, of course respecting the technical code, but understand that the rooftops is an opportunity for all of us, because the city cannot grow farther but actually most of the cities, and that is the good practices I was referring at the very beginning, they grow up. And this is, I mean, a great opportunity that we
Okay,
may
super
have.
interesting. Let's jump into another topic, and I would like to have your opinion. It's about sovereignty, and I would like to understand your view on what happens if we are not going to be able to build our sovereignty layer in AI, with AI and across all the technologies. No, what's going to happen?
Well,
And first question: are we going to be able to build that?
Is it viable, are you asking?
Yeah.
Well, I think that not every single middle-sized city can afford having their own AI stack, their own platforms. So we're facing a new era where we need to build trust, federated models, obviously data sovereignty across all the platforms, and try to avoid those very non-affordable solutions in order to scale, because the good news is that we are over the POC pilot phase and we're going towards operational AI to have direct impact and efficiency. So we need to avoid incurring in really costly platforms. And I know that it's a matter of trust and data sovereignty, but I think that there's lots of technology like cybersecurity that can actually enable and ease that process. And yeah. I think it's viable. But it's not going to happen overnight, though.
What are the frameworks that we can count on? Juan, what's your approach to the infrastructure layer that we should
I
be
would
building?
say it will not happen overnight, not till noon, not in the afternoon. It will not happen, period. We are not getting there that far, that soon, because all the infrastructure we have in the digital space, the electronics, you see the supply chain for chips, the firmware, all the stacks we have, we almost don't own any of those. We can, my take would be, we have to invest very heavily, very consistently, and all together in order to get new spaces for sovereignty. I always use the agriculture politics in policies in Europe as the main autonomous and sovereignty policy ever. Just to say, after the war, we built the European Union, and we have spent more than half of all the money we have spent in the European Union only in agriculture. The common agricultural policy has taken 40 years, half point of the European GDP. So talking about sovereignty is expensive and long range. And you have to compromise, because you are having more expensive eggs, more expensive milk, and you have to take that into account. And my question is, are we able in Europe to stand for 1% of the GDP, half of the point of the GDP for chips, for cloud, for software, for AI? For 15 years, we made a research in a think tank I work for, and we established that we need 200,000 millions invested per year for 15 years to have some sovereignty on chips. Show me the money. And I give you the sovereignty.
So it's about money then. It's just about money.
And long range.
And I think it's also trust.
We had another conversation that there are money up there, and we started the conversation about
you have
pension
the money.
fund. No, and we have just 100
you have
million.
200,000
there
millions
billions,
per
no?
year for 15 years, 10 years.
If I may add, my 2 cents is that when you're talking about sovereignty, we also talk about dependency, because, and they are coming together. Because when you are, what I'm seeing, not here, but what I'm seeing very often is where people talk about sovereignty, they are talking about data storage. Mm-hmm. And sovereignty is not about data storage. A city can have all the data and still be dependent. And to me, sovereignty is have 3 layers. And one layer is about data sovereignty, and that I agree, is the data that you hold and access. But then you have the model sovereignty. And the model sovereignty is that you have the capacity to audit your code, your algorithm. that is sovereignty that is very important, not only the possession of the data. And there is a third layer, which to me is perhaps the most important, is the operational sovereignty, where not only that you have the possibility to audit the codes or to possess the data, but actually you can act on it. Because if you don't have those three layers, you become dependent. And I think that this is what companies, at least in order to showcase ourselves to cities or to potential investors, here in Europe, is what we're trying to prove. We work with cadastral data and all public information that the cities have, and we can show that to the cities. We invest in experts, European experts, that they are data scientists, architects, urbanists, that they control and develop the algorithm together as a team. But also, and the most important, we don't have an opaque algorithm. Our algorithm can be traceable, and we can show it's a transparent algorithm that we can trace. I think that when we are investing on that, it's not about investing on cloud. That is no sovereignty. And we have a cloud, for example, now here with AWS, we are investing, they are investing here in Zaragoza, and the data will remain in Europe. But I think that we have, for sovereignty, invest in order to not be dependent on the development of the algorithm, the expertise, and eventually the accessibility and the traceability of our code.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's not a tech problem. It's, it's a matter of trust. It's a matter of building the right models and addressing challenges differently. It's about public and private collaboration. And it's about not everyone doing siloed initiatives, because that's not going to be cost efficient.
Let's go back to the tech. No? And,
Yeah.
I'm interested to see the agentic proposal, perhaps the technology that you are building underneath the platform, and perhaps the solutions that you are applying or interested to bring on as an open innovation model. Who wants to start?
Well, Juan, do you want to?
The agents? Let's start with
Start
the
with the agents.
agentic city.
I will subscribe or follow Miguel's idea on. We went through the efficiency cycle and technology-driven cycle in cities. Those are the smart cities paradigm we've been selling for too long, too far, and that's why we want to change the scope from smart cities to agentic cities, which is to say, instead of focusing on the technology or the platforms or the sensors or IoT, you name it, you start to deliver value to the citizen on their channels, on their means for their lives, for the citizens, for the companies, and for the public employees. And that's where you have to invest heavy on having agents which can help you manage the city better and easier. And that AI is amazing because it's a complexity reducer, the largest complexity reducer we have ever invented. So it can understand the jargon, the bureaucracy jargon, and the procedures we have in the city level and explain to my mom. And that's the way and with multimodality, you can have pictures, you can have voice, and you have a lot of new interfaces and ways to deliver value with all the middle layer, which is struggling the people to get to.
Let me say something, because I know that Miguel doesn't like a lot the digital twin. It looks like it's from the past. But
I like the digital twin.
What's your opinion about the digital
We have
twins,
launched two large projects, one digital twin for the city. We don't call it only digital twin. We have digital twins of digital twins because we have several digital twins for specific purpose, for mobility, for building, for crowd management, for lighting. We have plenty of those, and we have to put them all together and to make them more valuable in the cross layer. And we are doing that, and we are investing in another large project for urban spaces where we will put all the technology there and see how far we can get there.
Miguel, what about your AI layer under your platform? What are you building?
Well, I mean, I think that the most important thing is we have to start understanding that we have to coordinate in a more efficient way. Somehow we have to decentralize. In my experience, at least, I mean, I've been 20 years working with the UN. I realized that the importance of coordination is the capacity eventually is not centralization. Is somehow the possibility of creating partnerships. And I've been working on partnerships for many years, and I believe that that is the idea. We have the European Union that, for example, is developing the directives. And the AI, the European Union Act, that has been amazing, and that gives us some standards for applications. The cities have to implement that, and the states have to fund that. The startups eventually have the opportunity to deploy on that. Universities, and I think that this is very important, I'm an academic and I think it's very important, have the importance and the necessity to validate this. And then we deploy that information, and that is very important. The information has to be public, and it's because it's for the public. Yeah. And I think that element of coordination, that sort of a platform, is what any startup have to eventually build. That's sort of an ecosystem with MOUs, with universities, but MOUs that actually work with cities, with follow European standards. And I think that is the practice for moving this idea of centralizing one single actor that is responsible for that transformation is not possible. Yeah. The idea here is that you take a multi-layer
but it's happening.
And it's happening, yeah.
It's happening.
Fewer
and fewer players are delivering value at the speed of a startup, grabbing new markets and coupling new markets at scale and in a pace we have never seen. So I understand that Pixar or Disney vision of whatever, but what you see every day is that Anthropic, Google, OpenAI, and other large players are really speeding up that way.
Yeah.
And we are not giving that partnership,
what about
whatever.
The adoption, as you know, you are building that, but as public entities or even corporates, what's the level of adoption of these kind of technologies, the startups that we are investing, how you adopt them?
Yeah,
what are you looking
for us, first, there's a very important motto, and we invest, or if it has a direct impact in efficiency, or B, if it has a direct impact on the value provided to the end users, the users that use our infrastructures. And now we're starting to be more open in exploring different technologies outside, like the typical suspects that are in the corporate world. But as I said, we're going back to the edge, and we're doing things like data vision or artificial vision on cameras, fusing with other open data, RSU, traditional ITS, and for instance, like identifying real-time events of incidents that can be then shared with the user and eventually also with the car in order to adapt the control cruise speed. That will happen when OEMs are prepared for that. But always having in mind that it needs to have a direct impact on what we're doing, very business case driven. Mm-hmm. And also satellite technology to measure vegetation, IoT, also in very controlled systems to protect our workers when they're working on the roads, which is actually a very kind of challenging scenario. But everything, again, and I think that we spoke, trying to run things on the edge.
Yeah, well, that's another interesting conversation about how we can build sovereignty based on the edge. No? Yep. That could be something, but let me stay with you. What is your vision on the collaboration between startups, public entities, private entities? No? How that works from an open innovation point of view?
Well, I think it's necessary. I mean, we cannot make it if we don't find a model to collaborate between the three of us. And I know that we always have public contracts, and as corporates we have compliance, but events like this one offers the opportunity to start framing, kind of models to collaborate, and it's the only way forward. And also academia. I think for deep tech they're a great partner.
What do you think, Juan? Because we have, for example, a digital twin company, it's the Nexus, that it's building the digital twins for tier 2 massively. No? Tier 1 cities like Madrid or Barcelona, perhaps you have your own infrastructure. How do you see this collaboration between public entity and...
Well, we have here our General Director for Innovation. She was here. No, is there. For Madrid. And they drive, and her team, they drive Open Innovation Contest, Desafia, which is AI-driven challenge open innovation process. We capture new value propositions. We have embedded GovTech allocated budget in the large contract with we build to have more inbound innovation for startup, but at scale, at a large impact, we cannot go that low. We need partnership with larger players, with other layers that they can have the backup from larger companies. Otherwise, we struggle to really manage the complexity we have and the procedures we have and the regulation we have. We can kill 100 startups in 1 week. So we need to avoid that.
So we are running out of time. So we have just 3 minutes. Let's try to do a wrap up. No? And thank you for building that controversy and clarity also. But I would like to have your point of view about the future. No? How you see the future next 18 months, because that's perhaps it's far away.
Too far away.
What's your view on what's going to be next? No? For example, Lumo, we are interested in the orchestration layer of the agentic. What's your view or your take on the AI in the coming months?
I will use 30 seconds. We are betting heavily on Edge. We have Edge capabilities on every single bus in Madrid. We are delivering Edge AI capabilities for on the field workers in Madrid. We have more than 10,000 people on the street, and we need the AI to be run on the device. And I have read a post from Javi from Carto, the geographical infrastructure capabilities, and he posted a tech layer to be 100 autonomous and sovereign in Europe for analytics. And I start to believe that it may happen. So maybe we have to switch from on the edge and frontier and building an operational level, which is 41.
Okay. So, no, Miguel.
To me, very quickly, and maybe 20 seconds.
Like mine.
I'm an optimist with the idea of AI. I'm a humanist as well. So I think that's my hope, and I think that this is the tendency, and particularly here in Europe, is that we understand the possibilities of AI from a humanistic perspective. Here in cities in Europe, we have a strong urban fabric. People come from all over the world because they want to live here in Europe, and we create that fabric. And it's very important that we understand that whatever doesn't get measured, it doesn't exist. So we should not allow our dashboards, our urban twins, or our technology actually to stop measuring things that matters to the people in the city. And I think that we should keep investing on that, and we are investing on that. Tangible elements that may solve and can solve the problem of the real people. Because that is what Europe is about, and that is the human fabric that we have created here in centuries. I think that that is the tendency. No digital, no screens, no dashboards only, which I think are important, but also tangible elements that the people really can touch, and more important, they can live.
Okay,
I'm going to be super quick in 10 seconds.
30 seconds.
So POCs are dead. Let's make it operational right now. Federated architectures with obviously trust and edge first.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you all for sharing your view from the public point of view, the startup point of view, and the corporate point of view, no, in a topic that it's even more and more needed. No? So thank you all.